The Devshirme system, implemented by the Ottoman Empire in the late 14th century, was one of the most distinctive and controversial aspects of Ottoman governance. It played a pivotal role in the military and civil service recruitment within the empire, ensuring that the Ottoman state had a highly disciplined and loyal military force, along with an efficient bureaucracy. Sultan Murad I, who reigned from 1362 to 1389, is often credited with establishing this system, which would continue to shape the empire for centuries. The Devshirme system, often referred to as the blood tax, involved the recruitment of young Christian boys from the Ottoman Empire's European territories, particularly in the Balkans, for service in the Ottoman military and civil administration. While the system is often portrayed as a form of conscription or kidnapping, it was a state-sponsored process that allowed the empire to create a centralized and loyal ruling class. Through the Devshirme system, the Ottoman Empire was able to strengthen its military capabilities, maintain internal order, and solidify the Sultan's authority across its vast and diverse territories. The recruitment process typically began in Balkan Christian villages, where a certain number of boys between the ages of 8 and 18 were selected to serve in the empire. The selected boys were then taken from their families, a process that was often painful and traumatic for the families involved, as they were required to surrender their children to the state. Once the boys were chosen, they were taken to the imperial capital of Istanbul or other Ottoman centers, where they underwent a rigorous process of training, conversion, and resocialization. At the core of the Devshirme system was the Janissary Corps, an elite military unit created by Sultan Murad I. The Janissaries would become the backbone of the Ottoman army, highly disciplined and loyal to the Sultan rather than local lords or tribal chiefs. This made the Janissary Corps a unique military force in the Ottoman Empire, as it was composed of soldiers who were loyal to the central government rather than to individual regions or powerful families. In return for their service, the Janissaries received regular salaries, land, and prestige, which distinguished them from traditional feudal soldiers who were often dependent on the patronage of local rulers. The Devshirme system was not only about military recruitment, it also contributed significantly to the Ottoman civil bureaucracy. The boys selected through the Devshirme system were educated in the Islamic faith, and many were trained in administrative duties. Some were sent to study subjects such as literature, law, science, and Islamic theology, equipping them for roles in the Ottoman bureaucracy. As a result, many of these boys went on to hold influential positions within the Ottoman government, including serving as viziers, judges, governors, and military commanders. This created a meritocratic system in which individuals could rise to the highest levels of power based on their skills and abilities rather than their family lineage. The implementation of the Devshirme system allowed the Ottomans to break the traditional structures of power in their empire, which had been based on feudalism and tribal loyalty. Before the Devshirme, local leaders and noble families often held considerable power and autonomy over their territories. This decentralized power structure made it difficult for the central government in Istanbul to maintain control over the empire's far-reaching territories. By recruiting boys from Christian communities, the Ottomans created a centralized system of loyalty that tied the military and bureaucracy directly to the Sultan rather than to local power brokers. The Janissary Corps, created through the Devshirme, became one of the most powerful military forces in the Ottoman Empire. The Janissaries were known for their exceptional discipline, training, and loyalty to the Sultan. They were professional soldiers, unlike the feudal levies of other empires, and they played a crucial role in the Ottoman military expansion. The Janissaries participated in key battles, including the Battle of Kosovo in 1389, where they helped secure Ottoman control over the Balkans. The Corps was not only a military force, but also an instrument of Ottoman political power. Janissaries could exert influence over the empire's politics, even influencing the selection of the Sultan. This made them not just warriors, but a powerful political class within the Ottoman system. In addition to the military and bureaucratic roles, the Devshirme system also contributed to the Ottoman Empire's cultural diversity. While the boys recruited were converted to Islam, they came from a variety of ethnic backgrounds, including Albanians, Serbs, Bulgarians, and Greeks. Over time, these recruits became an integral part of the Ottoman elite, and their diverse cultural heritage helped create a multicultural ruling class. This was significant in an empire that spanned 3 continents and encompassed a wide array of ethnicities and religions. However, despite its importance to the empire's military and administrative success, the Devshirme system was not without its critics. The Christian communities from which the boys were taken often resented the system, as it separated families and deprived them of their children. While the Devshirme was officially portrayed as a state-sponsored process, it was also seen as a form of forced labor, as many of the boys had little choice in their recruitment. Furthermore, the system became increasingly controversial as the centuries went on, particularly as the Janissaries gained more power and began to challenge the authority of the Sultan. By the 17th century, the Janissary Corps had become so powerful that they were able to stage rebellions and exert significant influence over Ottoman politics, leading to the eventual dissolution of the Devshirme system in the 19th century. Despite its controversial nature, the Devshirme system was crucial to the success and longevity of the Ottoman Empire. It provided the empire with a professional military, a loyal bureaucracy, and a centralized administrative system that helped maintain stability across its vast territories. The system's legacy can still be seen in the Ottoman military and administrative structures, which served as a model for many subsequent empires. The Devshirme system, introduced by Sultan Murad I in the 14th century, had profound and far-reaching effects on the Ottoman Empire. While the practice of recruiting Christian boys into military and administrative service may seem controversial, its impact on the empire's structure and longevity was undeniably significant. Over time, the Devshirme became an integral part of the empire's military strength, administrative unity, and cultural diversity, playing a pivotal role in the Ottoman Empire's success and influence across Europe, Asia, and Africa. The role of the Janissaries. The most immediate and visible effect of the Devshirme system was the creation of the Janissary Corps, which became the elite military force of the Ottoman Empire. The Janissaries were selected from Christian communities, trained to become highly disciplined soldiers, and bound by loyalty to the Sultan rather than any local ruler or noble family. This centralized loyalty made them a uniquely powerful force in Ottoman society. The Janissaries played a critical role in many of the Ottoman Empire's military successes, contributing to the empire's territorial expansion and defense. The Janissary Corps was also one of the most influential military organizations of its time. Their professionalism, discipline, and strategic importance made them one of the most feared armies in Europe and the Middle East. The Janissaries were pivotal in the Ottoman Empire's victories, such as the Battle of Kosovo in 1389 and the fall of Constantinople in 1453. Their dominance in the battlefield cemented the Ottoman Empire's military superiority for centuries, and they remained the backbone of the Ottoman armed forces until their dissolution in the early 19th century. The bureaucratic elite. While the Janissaries were the most visible aspect of the Devshirme system, they were not the only group to benefit from the system. The Devshirme also provided the Ottoman Empire with an elite bureaucratic class that played a crucial role in the administration of the empire. The boys selected through the Devshirme system were educated in subjects such as literature, law, science, and Islamic theology, preparing them for important government positions. These young men rose through the ranks of the Ottoman bureaucracy, ultimately becoming viziers, governors, judges, and military commanders. The Ottoman civil service became highly meritocratic, as the Devshirme system allowed for the rise of individuals based on their abilities rather than their noble birth. This was a departure from the more feudal systems of many contemporary empires, where positions of power were often determined by hereditary rights. As a result, the Ottoman Empire developed a professional and efficient administration that helped maintain stability and order across its vast territories. Many of the most influential figures in Ottoman history came from the ranks of Devshirme recruits, including Ibrahim Pasha, who became the Grand Vizier under Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent. The Devshirme system allowed the Ottoman rulers to integrate various ethnic and religious groups into the empire's governing structure, creating a diverse but cohesive administrative elite. This multiculturalism helped ensure that the empire was able to manage its vastly diverse population for centuries, from the Balkans and North Africa to the Arabian Peninsula and Persian Gulf. The integration of diverse ethnicities. One of the lesser discussed but important effects of the Devshirme system was its ability to unite different ethnicities under a centralized Ottoman state. The boys taken from Christian villages in the Balkans, such as those from Serbia, Albania, Bosnia, and Greece, brought with them not only their native languages and traditions, but also their loyalties and cultural identity. This contributed to a more cosmopolitan Ottoman elite, where individuals from various ethnic backgrounds could rise through the ranks of both the military and civil services, often serving the empire in prominent roles. Though they were forcibly converted to Islam and trained in Ottoman values, many of these recruits maintained strong ties to their ethnic roots. Over time, the Ottoman Empire became a melting pot of cultures, with Turks, Arabs, Kurds, Albanians, Serbs, and Greeks working alongside one another in both the military and administration. This helped foster a unique Ottoman identity, one that emphasized loyalty to the Sultan and the Ottoman state over regional or ethnic divisions. The long-term decline of the Devshirme system. As the Ottoman Empire continued to expand and evolve, the Devshirme system itself began to experience both internal and external pressures. By the 17th century, the Janissaries, once a disciplined and loyal force, had grown increasingly corrupt and politically powerful. Over time, their military competence waned, and they became involved in political struggles, even influencing the selection of sultans. This shift in the Janissary Corps' role led to increasing revolts and political instability, which ultimately contributed to the decline of the empire. Internally, the Devshirme system became more controversial as the empire expanded. The increasing resentment from Christian communities, particularly in the Balkans, regarding the forced recruitment of their children, led to growing dissatisfaction with the system. Over time, as the empire's focus shifted to other methods of military recruitment, the Devshirme system was gradually phased out. By the early 19th century, the system had been officially abolished, and the empire moved toward a more modernized, professionalized military force. The enduring legacy of the Devshirme system. Despite its eventual decline, the Devshirme system had a lasting impact on the Ottoman Empire and its legacy. It created a centralized, merit-based system that provided the empire with loyal soldiers and a professional administration. The Janissaries remained a symbol of Ottoman military might, and the administrative class developed through the Devshirme system continued to influence the empire long after the system was abolished. Moreover, the Ottoman Empire's ability to integrate diverse cultures and foster a sense of Ottoman identity helped maintain the stability of the empire for centuries. In conclusion, the Devshirme system was a key factor in the Ottoman Empire's success, particularly in its military and governance. While controversial, it allowed the Ottomans to create a loyal and disciplined military, build a meritocratic administration, and unite diverse ethnic groups under one central authority. The legacy of this system continued to influence the empire's policies and structure, and it remains a unique example of state-sponsored recruitment in world history.